So I had my CDL test, man. My CDL driving test. The final test before I could get my license. And how could this happen right before I had to have my test, bro? Why on this day? This is real life crazy, bro. What's good, mother truckers? It's your boy CDL Keiko, and I'm back with another video, back with another banger. We are in the personal vehicle with it, man. And as you guys can tell by the title, man, finally took our CDL driving test. For those of you guys who have been staying along for the journey so far, by the way, we're almost at 100 subscribers, so shout out you guys. I know you guys are probably wondering if I passed. So in this video, I'll be letting you guys know if I passed. I'll also give you guys kind of just a rundown of my experience and everything, just because I know there's people just like me. So hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and man, did CDL Keiko pass, or is he just a fraud? Let's get right into it. All right, you guys. So like I said, yesterday was my CDL driving test, the final test. It was yesterday at 11 a.m. I'll let you guys know the DMV I tested out of. I tested out of the DMV in Lancaster. It's a really nice DMV. It's a newer building, and it's huge in there. It's really, really nice, really put together DMV, better than most, because you know how most DMVs, you cram next to each other. When it comes to test taking, I've never really been a person to get super stressed out. I mean, I feel like when it came to school, I didn't necessarily care about school like that when I was taking tests in there, so I wouldn't get too nervous. But something that is actually like getting me into like a career field and stuff like that, and I've been putting so much work into it, bruh, I was not necessarily stressed about it. I was just more anxious. I wanted to get it over with and done so I could say, okay, now it's done. Now I can just look forward to this. You feel me? My teacher, he told me to meet him at the DMV at about 9 so that we could warm up in the truck and we could go on the route. And kind of I get like a little practice test before the actual run. You feel me? So I'm like, cool. That's going to be even better because then I'll help any nerves, anything out. You feel me? So I wake up early and I head to the DMV. The DMV is about 45 minutes from where I live. So I get there about 8:45 and I see my teacher. My teacher gives me that pump talk. He's like, are you ready? You know what I'm saying? It's good to see you, da 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 da. But this is what I didn't know. I didn't know that somebody was taking their test before me. Like another student in my school was taking their test before me. Not that I was like mad about that or anything, but I just didn't know that, you feel me? So he was actually over there by the truck doing his part of the test. So I was able to see kind of what was going on and stuff like that. And I'm not going to disclose his full information, but he wasn't there to take the full test. He just pretty much had to do a part that he could not complete the first time. So boom, my teacher tells me, hey, you know, they're about to go take out the truck. He'll be back about like 9:30 and then we'll be able to run through our portion. So I'm like, all right, cool. And shout out my teacher, bro. He took me to breakfast, bro. He took me to this place called Jackie's Cafe in Lancaster. It's this little, like, I ain't gonna say hole in the wall spot because it was a nice spot, but it was like a family owned spot. Had some good food, man, some good breakfast food. I had a nice omelette. He took me out. He didn't have to do that, so I appreciate him for that. We had a good little conversation. We were making good time. We finished eating about like 9:20, right? So we head back to the DMV. It was right down the street. And we noticed that the truck still isn't back. Mind you, we said it was supposed to be back at 9:30, so then we could go and take it out. So, you know, no biggie. We're like, oh, it'll probably be here in the next few minutes or so. So my teacher just says, hey, go sit in your car. You know, it's kind of cool out. I forgot to say that. The conditions of yesterday, bro, it was windy as hell. I don't know what California's been on, but it was just so windy yesterday, bro. That was the conditions of yesterday. So boom, I'm sitting in the car, you know what I'm saying, just chilling. I called my girl, you know, I'm just calling for time to pass. And, you know, I noticed now it's about to be like 10 o'clock and the truck still ain't back. Mind you, my test was at 11, so I had to check in at 10:30. So I'm like, dang, we ain't gonna really have no time to do nothing because to drive to, you know, where the maneuvers are is 12 minutes. To drive back is like 15. So it's just like, bro, we ain't gonna have time to do nothing. So I get out the car and I go find my teacher and he's like, hey, you know, it's about to be like 10:15 at this point. So why don't you just go ahead and get in line and check in for your test? I'm sorry, but we're probably not going to have enough time to go through, you know, the whole pre-test. So keep in mind, I am prepared for the test. So, you know, it kind of was like one of them things like, dang, I wish I could have done it just because it would have got any nerves out of my system and whatnot. But I was like, oh, well, it is what it is. I'm going to have to test and learn how to adapt. So boom, I'm in line. There's only like 2 or 3 people in front of me. And while I was in line, that's when the truck actually came back. And so my instructor grabs the key. He gives me the key and we check in, and you feel me? And so basically After you check in, they tell you to go sit down and they're gonna call your name in a little bit. Bro, this was probably the worst part. My teacher said this is the worst part too. It's just sitting there in the DMV waiting for your name to be called. Bro, because in your head you're thinking like, okay, I can't forget this about my air brakes, can't forget this about this and that. Oh, I gotta do the pre-trip right, I gotta get my maneuvers right. You're thinking in your head, bro. But sometimes you just gotta take a deep breath and just relax. So some time goes by, maybe about like only 10-15 minutes, and the people that were in front of me, they end up getting called, so I knew I was next. So I'm like, you know, listen, this is what I'm doing it for. I'm doing it for my family, I'm doing it for this and that. I gotta lock in, let's get it, you feel me? They call my name, CDL Keiko. I say, me? I go up to the DMV desk, and you know, the person introduces himself. I'm examiner 1. I'm gonna be the one conducting your test today. Why don't you go ahead and meet me at the truck over there in 5 minutes where you parked at? So I told him we were parked in the front, and me and my teacher, we go to the truck and wait for the examiner to come. Honestly, getting in the truck 5 minutes before the examiner comes, you kind of get to like settle in and see everything, especially because I wasn't able to, you know, like adjust my seat or nothing. My teacher gives me one last good luck, and he goes and does his own thing, you feel me? So the examiner comes, and I'm already sitting inside the truck, so he comes, sits next to me, and he's like, you know, hey, we're about to conduct, you know, your test. These are the rules. This is what we're going to start with. And he asked me what I wanted to start. He's like, you want to start inside first? And I was like, yeah, because I wanted to get air brakes out the way, because you got to be 100%. You can't miss nothing. You feel me? So I begin with air brakes, man. He says I could start, and I just run through it, man. I run through it like I was practicing, bro. Kind of was a little nervous at first, but then as I went, I was like, okay, I can do this. You feel me? And the only part that I almost could have messed up on was when I was testing my service brake. The truck almost started to roll, but luckily I caught it before it could roll, you feel me? So I caught it, and he told me, hey, good job, you passed that part. So I continued with my in-cab inspection, passed that with flying colors. Then we go to the outside inspection. I passed that with flying colors. He actually made a comment to me, and he said, I love that you brought your checklist and you were going off the checklist. You weren't naming parts that weren't on the checklist or didn't matter or anything like that. So I basically aced it and killed it, right? So we get back in the truck, and he's like, all right, now we're about to head to the stadium to do the maneuvers. Now, I thought us driving there, that was part of the driving test. I thought it was the driving test. They tell you it's not part of the test, but it is technically. Like, if you mess up, obviously they can ding you and stuff. But I drove there, drive went smooth, and now I get to the stadium. They do the maneuvers at this stadium. So they have the cones set up, and one thing I've noticed about the cones at the DMV was that the cones were a lot more narrow, and when I had been doing my maneuvers at my CDL school, it was a little bit more wider, you know what I'm saying? And honestly, that's not my CDL school's fault, because you got to realize somebody sets them cones up, you know, daily when it's time to test. Not only that, it was hella windy, so the cones were like moving and whatnot, and it wasn't the best condition. So boom, we're there, and he runs me through what maneuvers we're gonna do. I already knew them, of course, and we run through. Forward stop, killed it. Straight backing, killed it. The offset tracking forward, killed it. Then it was offset backing. Now again, I said the width was a little bit more narrow, and now it's time to offset back. I had the correct angle, everything was set up perfectly, but I cut the wheel a little bit too early. I didn't let the trailer come to my left side enough and then, straighten it out. I cut it early, so I was a little bit closer on this right side. And I didn't hit a cone, but my tire went over like the black bottom part of the cone. So he stopped me. And so I did my first pull up there, and you get 2 pull-ups and 2 get outs. I noticed, like I said, it's still a lot more narrow. The cones are moving and whatnot. And I back again, and I notice I'm too close. So I pull up again, 2 pull-ups. Those are my 2 free pull-ups. I'm like, all right, I gotta get it now. You feel me? So I'm backing up, and I almost make it to the end, bro. But again, I got too close. So I had to use another pull-up, bro. Used another pull-up, and that does deduct points from you, but you don't like necessarily fail or anything like that. And even the examiner came up. He was like, all right, so you used them all. This next one is gonna put you at this many, points or whatever. Just try your best. And so I pull up more to the left this time, and finally I had the right angle, and bam, I killed the backwards offset. I'm in the box, sound my horn, I pass. So then now he's like, now the final overview is the driving test. The drive back was the actual driving test, which I didn't know that. So when I kid you not, man, I thought he was gonna have me drive like back just to the DMV. That's my driving test. No, like he had me going all these other routes and different things, had me going the highway again and different things like that. He was asking me like, oh, what did this bridge sign say and everything. And luckily I was paying attention to the road, obviously. And I was getting everything right. And at this point, I was feeling like I passed, but at the same time, I was a little nervous because while I was still driving, he was still marking stuff on his tablet. But he had even said to me, he said, hey, just because you see me doing stuff on here doesn't mean like you're doing anything wrong. I just have to fill this out, right? So boom, we're driving back and we finally get back to the DMV, bro. I parked the truck and this is where he tells me that I passed my CDL driving test and I got a commercial Class A license. But it says interim commercial driver's license Class A. We passed the first try, bro. We got it done. And he said, congratulations, you did great. It was really good. Pretty much my teacher, when I got back, he already knew I passed. Like he was like, you're good. And we passed, bro. It feels good to finally, you know, you put in work for something, and to see a result, it feels good. And to not have to come back to the DMV, to not necessarily have to sit here and stress about it no more, be anxious about it, it feels great, bro. And that just goes to show you, bro, if I can do this, so can you, bro. Never thought in my 26 years of living that I would be trying to drive trucks or do any of this, but you know, life has a funny way of working and it found its way to me and it's been good to me so far. Shout out Commercial Trucking School and their whole entire staff. On Monday, I gotta go pick up my certificate, basically like my diploma, and then they're gonna give me a list of more companies. But now the job search really gets serious, man. It's time to find a job, man. I put in like 10 applications in places and I got more that I want to submit, but the job search really is starting now, man. We got this out the way and the journey itself is really starting now. That's what's funny, is because it's not even just like, oh, I got my CDL, now it's over with. No, we're beginning a whole journey, man. I just got the thing that I need to get into the door, you know what I'm saying? So hopefully some doors start opening. I'll keep you guys updated. But I'm excited, I'm blessed, I feel good about things. I am glad that I embarked on this journey, and I appreciate you guys for, you know, being supportive, and hopefully we continue gaining supporters, and hopefully maybe I can inspire somebody. So hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new. CDL Keiko's not a fraud. I'm actually CDL certified now. CDL certified Class A. And hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new. Follow me on IG. Stay blessed. Keep chasing your dreams. Let's do it.